One small compensation may be the public attention his story has drawn to a larger hidden abuse. The criminal process is designed to set up for black men to fail. Deadass. What happened to Meek is a perfect example of that. The judge has displayed what Meek's lawyer suggests is an inappropriate level of curiosity about the defendant's hip-hop career. The judge told him that he needs to take etiquette classes and that he needs to learn how to post on Instagram. What? Like, why are you so into this man's life? That doesn't make any sense. That has literally nothing to do with you. What he posts on Instagram has nothing to do with you. Where's the First Amendment? Like, where is it?
But I put myself on cruise control.
Hey queens, and shout out to my kings too. Welcome back to Nabila Rain. We are doing Sunday morning tea today. I will be doing Sunday morning tea, I would say, every Sunday from 10:30, dropping it 10:30 to 11:30. So today what we're going to be talking about is net neutrality, Meek Mill in the justice system, and I'll be talking about what tweets and stuff that I like throughout the week. So let's get into it. Okay, so we're going to talk about Meek Mill's case in particular just because that has been out in the media. This social class that I took this past semester, we had to read a whole bunch of articles, and one of the articles was about Meek Mill going back to prison. So it kind of explains what the history was behind it. So basically, I have my computer here just to like get my facts straight. So such high profile focus on the plight of Meek Mill has in turn cast light on thousands of other young black people whose stories typically have no hope of being aired. So for me talking about this, it is about Meek, but it's also about all of the other black men who have to go through this. Their stories don't get told, you know, and it's just so sad. They're put back into prison for these minor violations, and it just doesn't make sense. In Philadelphia alone, there are 45,000 men and women who have served their time but routinely remain caught in the grip of the penal system through probation that stretches on for years, often sending them back to prison for as insignificant as turning up late for an appointment with a parole officer. Like, they really get them for real small stuff. And that's the I'm reading off theguardian.com. That is an article that was for my class, and I'll link it down below so you guys can go read the whole thing. I'm giving y'all little snippets, but definitely go down and read it for yourself. So Meek was sentenced to 2 to 4 years in prison for probation violations. It was 3 probation violations. The first one was he popped a willy in New York City, and it's illegal to pop a willy. Number 2, he broke up a fight in an airport, and the police officer said that he helped, like he wasn't in the wrong, but she put him away for that. And the third thing is he got addicted, I believe, to opioids or some type of drug, and he wanted to get help for it. He wanted to go to rehab for it. Meek is 30 years old, and he was convicted when he was 19. That was 11 years ago. He was arrested for carrying an unlicensed handgun, and he had a stash of drugs, is what this says. So he faced trial by a judge named Janice Brinkley. So it says that she acted as both the judge and the jury, and they convicted him. They sentenced him up to 23 months in prison with 5 years of probation to follow. It says 5 years of probation to follow. So he was rewarded for good behavior inside prison by being let out early after 8 months, which was January 16th, 2009, and that's when he like picked up his music career and everything, all of that. Behind the scenes, he remained in the clutches of Judge Brinkley. No new crime had been committed, and he was sentenced back to prison for double the time of what he was originally sentenced for. I don't know what sense that makes. He went to see the judge, I went back into court 34 times. 34 times. What kind of harassment? Like, wow. 22 of them were for probation violations. It says it was a virtual prison outside of prison. Basically, he was outside of prison, but he was basically in prison. They did not let this man live. He is in effect treated as though he were still a child, dependent on the firm disciplinary hand of the court for his well-being. He is a grown man, and oh, this really hits me. This makes me so annoyed, y'all. Oh my gosh. Okay. And this happens with so many black people. It doesn't make any sense, to be honest. He had to get permission every single time that he wanted to travel. They really treated this man like a child. This happened 11 years ago. Like 11 years ago. It's crazy. The defendant must report every 2 weeks and only do charitable events, but cannot do paid performances. You're stopping this man from making money for what? For what? Like, for what? I really don't understand. As court documents raise questions about the intense interest that Brinkley has shown Meek Mill over the past 10 years. She's an African American woman, y'all. Just in case y'all don't know, she's African American. So for her to be, I don't know, I just think it's real strange. It's really strange, the interest that she's showing in him. Like, the judge has displayed what Meek's lawyer suggests is an inappropriate level of curiosity about the defendant's hip-hop career. In case y'all don't know, I'm not sure when this happened, but she did like bring Meek and I think Nicki into her chambers and asked Meek to mention her in a song with Boys to Men or something like that. And I'm like, what kind of inappropriate mess is this? That literally is ridiculous. And he said no. So she was like, okay, kind of like, okay, so if you don't want to do that, then we gonna see what happens type of thing. And that's just so messed up. It's so messed up. Like, but shout out to Meek for standing his ground and not letting her bully him into doing something that he did not want to do. She said, after all I've done for you over all these years, trying to help you have a career and to move your career forward. What? Somebody asked you to do that? The heck? And it says the Guardian invited Brinkley to respond to allegations about her treatment of Mill, including complaints that her recent decision to send him back to prison was excessive and cruel and was driven by personal animus. She declined to comment on grounds that the matter is subject to further litigation. She didn't respond to it because she knows that she's wrong. The prosecutor and Meek Mill's parole officer told her that she should not do it. She should not send him to prison, and she went and did it anyway. She acted as a judge and the jury, and as a judge you need to be neutral. That's what you're there for. You're there to be neutral, and she was not. She obviously had her own gains in this, and it seems like she was bitter, to be honest. It seemed like she was bitter about what, though? I don't know what her issue is, but I don't know. I just don't know. But I just wanted to shed light that this happens to many men, many women, and their stories don't get told. So we should just be aware of this and try to, throw some action in there. Don't just hear the story and not do anything. So what can you do? There is a position by Color for Change, and I'll link it down below so you can go ahead and sign the petition. And the hashtag is Free Meek Mill, and is demanding that Brinkley be taken off the case before the rapper gets a chance to appeal his latest sentence. So far, more than 60,000 people have signed it. I did sign it, and I think that you should too. Just because it's just like senseless things. These probation violations are really just out of control. Alright, last but not least, we're going to do the tweets that I thought were interesting or funny this past week. So the first one says, we are not trying to hear no negative-ish before 2018. And then this is what the video is.
Hi. Please. I've been happy to educate thousands of millions of generations of kids.
She's hating this and telling him to stop. And he's like, I'm not stopping. And he sounds good. No F given. I thought that was really funny. Right here, it says that he got accepted to Harvard at the age of 16, guys. Him. And then he has like everybody like cheering him on and everything. I love it. I completely love it. Shout out to him. His name is on Twitter, Ayrton Little. So shout out to him.